Hello and welcome to yet another Big 3 Rumble, but this is the first for the series. I will finally be taking a request. So today's episode is requested by Kevda67. Their request was that I think about the best first arc or opening arc, being East Blue, Land of Waves, and Soul Society. Thank you, Kev, I appreciate the request, and if you want to put your request, put it in the comment below. Now, let's get into the video. So, we will start off with last episode's winner, Naruto. We were looking at the Land of Waves arc, which spans from chapter 1 to 33. Chapter 1 to 3 is mostly the introduction to the few characters, but chapter 4 feels like where the story really starts to form. We get the iconic bell test from Kakashi, seeing the interactions of each of the 3 members of the group. We have Naruto being hit by the legendary jutsu, Sakura getting hit by Genjutsu, showing her a completely mauled Sasuke. Then we finally get Sasuke's skirmish with Kakashi, with them almost getting the bells, just barely touching them. What I think is very interesting about this part is there's a showcase of good range of abilities that we can understand how it's used in the world. The use of Genjutsu and Ninjutsu are shown well and giving good explanation. The lesson of teamwork during this test really shows the dynamic of this team, preparing us for the next part. We finally get a mission that doesn't involve getting cats for old ladies. We are going to escort the bridge builder to the Land of Waves. We are having our first encounter with a real-world enemy. The team meets up with the Demon Brothers in their assassination attempt. What I found so captivating is not just how cool Kakashi is, but how each character react. Sasuke, calm and collective, Sakura protecting the bridge builder, and Naruto not being able to move. We're introduced to Zabuza, such a great first villain for the team to face, showing us what 2 high-level ninja can do, showing us the power gap between them and the adults thus far. Then, when Kakashi is captured and it's up to the rest of Team 7 to get him out, working together even though Kakashi tells them to run. Good development for both Sasuke and Naruto. I would have loved to see Sakura do something here, because it felt like she did nothing here at all. Naruto and Sasuke made a collaborate plan to save Kakashi out of the water prison, and finally allowing him to take out Zabuza. Haku takes out Zabuza out of the fight, allowing him to fight for another day. Learning that Haku was working with Zabuza the entire time. Kakashi collapsing from the battle and had to take time to recover. Since both Kakashi and Zabuza are taking a few days, this is where our team learned to control their chakra better with tree climbing. Sakura is the first to finish the test, leaving Sasuke and Naruto to train for days until they were able to complete it. We also have this story of a young boy and his father being a hero on the island, which is very compelling and helped deepen Naruto's character as someone who wants to become a great ninja and a great hero. Just gonna take a second here and say I totally forgot Kakashi was doing one-finger push-ups with Sakura and the bridge builder on his back. Like, what? How did I forget about this? Now that both Zabuza and Kakashi are at full strength, they both set out yet again. Naruto sleeps in, so during the ambush at the bridge, it is Kakashi, Sasuke, Sakura, and the bridge builder there. This is where the true fight begins. Kakashi versus Zabuza and Sasuke versus Haku. We look at Sasuke's fight first, and it seems like he's keeping up with Haku until Crystal Ice Mirrors comes out. He just speed blitz, and then we have the grand entrance of Naruto in the fight. Naruto and Sasuke are in a dire place due to how strong and how fast Haku is. They try their own tactics but get nowhere. Sasuke unlocks his 2-tone Sharingan, where he can see Haku going after Naruto. Sasuke saves Naruto, but is out of the fight. When I first read this panel, man, this shit was crazy. After Naruto seeing Sasuke seemingly die in front of him, he goes into a 9-tailed rage. Naruto almost just annihilates Haku, being able to keep up and catch him. Naruto knocks out Haku out of the Crystal Ice Mirrors and sees that they have met before. Moving back to Kakashi versus Zabuza, Zabuza uses Hidden Mist Jutsu, being able to land a few attacks in Kakashi. After Kakashi senses the 9-tailed chakra, he goes straight into summoning jutsus. Zabuza is completely immobilized by all the coolest fuck ninja dog. Look at Pakun, just hanging from Zabuza's headband. With this, Kakashi uses Lightning Blade to finally finish off Zabuza. Yet his attack doesn't reach Zabuza, but Haku instead. Yet this has to be one of the craziest fucking panels in the whole arc. The attack just blows through Haku's chest. Like, he went through his chest as if he's done it before. What? He has? When? Oh shit! Anyways, Zabuza uses this chance to just try to sneak an attack through Haku. After that, Zabuza just gets absolutely rocked by Kakashi, just not being able to keep up with him in his current state. Then when the mob comes out to kill Zabuza, we get the first ever talk no jutsu. This was just such a fucking good scene. Seeing Naruto get to the demon Zabuza himself, tears rolling down his face, and knowing that he's about to march to his death. Zabuza just runs into the mob to get his revenge. Such a badass way to go out. The mob gets ran out, and on the graves of Zabuza and Haku, Naruto comes up with his own ninja way, solidifying the path that Naruto will be going down for the entire series, ending with the name of the bridge being decided, the Great Naruto Bridge. Now we move on to Bleach and the Soul Society arc. This arc is so much longer than the Land of Wave, so I'm going to be doing my best to go through it at a reasonable pace. Since it is over 100 chapters, please bear with me. So at this point, we have a situation. Rukia is going to be executed in the Soul Society, so it's up to the gang to go to the Soul Society. They're able to get into the Soul Society, but we're being stopped at the entrance of the Serite by a large giant guard. Ichigo's able to handle him no problem, but Gin sends them boys packing to find another entrance. Now that the crew has to find another way into the Serite, so they decide they're going to be shot out of a cannon to get in. They become one with the cannonball and make it into the Serite. They are unfortunately split up from each other. Now, this whole thing turned into a Pokemon Victory Road playthrough. What I mean by that, it is just encounter after encounter after encounter. Not a bad thing at all, I just couldn't help myself but think about that through my reread. Let's look at our groups now. Chad is alone, don't see anything bad happening there. Uryu and Orihime, Ichigo and Ganju, then lastly, Yoruichi in her cat form. First encounter with Team Ichigo is where Ichigo fights Ikaku. I'm gonna say this now, the whole chase scene with Ganju wasn't very interesting, so I don't feel a need to talk about it. The fight with Ikaku really showed the differences in understanding the Zanpakuto power. Ikaku has an understanding of his Zanpakuto, while Ichigo is still learning all about it. This fight concludes with Ichigo coming up on top, with Ikaku giving him a warning about his captain. Moving along, we get an encounter with Team Uryu. They run into a Shinigami that looks like a real threat, but in my honest opinion, it was just a flex encounter for Uryu, just to make quick work out of him and move on. As the team pushes forward, we see a glimpse of all the divisions and their relationship. Not all of them are fond of one another, interaction with Kenpachi and Mairi, to emphasize that even more. With all this brewing up, Team Ichigo finds a shortcut through the sewers and end up running into Renji. This fight goes back and forth, with Renji seemingly having the upper hand in the beginning, just for Ichigo to show Renji his true resolve. The fight wasn't very flashy, but I do respect how much they learned from each other through that fight alone, showing to Ichigo that there are so many people that he could have to get through to even think about saving Rukia. The aftermath to this fight is kinda insane. We see Byakuya just being a complete asshole to Renji, having him thrown in jail half alive. All of the captains are ordered to prepare for all-out war. I don't know how I feel about Aizen's death. If Kubo is going to kill him off screen, I suppose he isn't really important as a character, so we'll just move on. Ichigo's encounter with Kenpachi. Not gonna lie, I fell in love with Kenpachi from this encounter. He legit just flexed on Ichigo most of the fight, just letting him get a free shot in. His spiritual pressure was so menacing through this encounter. It made me understand the gap in strength that Ichigo needs to clear in order to push forward. Also, while the fight is going on, we have Chad's encounter, and we know how that played out. Ichigo seems to be getting better as the fight progresses, but we know Kenpachi is only using 1% of his power, and to be honest, one of my favorite panels during this fight is when Kenpachi pierces through Ichigo's Zanpakuto to reach him. After that, on the verge of losing, Ichigo calls out to Old Man Zangetsu to help him. Ichigo is taken to his inner world, where he sees White, and he states that he wants to fight with Zangetsu, and obtains his Zanpakuto back from White. With that, everything he has left, Ichigo and Kenpachi do one last clash. Kenpachi stated that Ichigo won, but not gonna lie, it looks like a very strong draw to me. Yoruichi recovers Ichigo, and then we have another encounter with Rukia. There's a subplot with Rukia killing Ganju's brother, but what is more important is Byakuya standing in the doorway ready to kill everybody. But you know, what's even more important than that? Yoruichi's true form! Wow! Well, Ichigo senses Byakuya and dips in order to confront him. Yoruichi catches up, knocks out Ichigo, declaring to Byakuya that she will make him stronger than him in 3 days, and their fight will be postponed until then. Here we get into Bankai training and Uryu's encounter, which is my favorite of this arc. To start off with exploding Soul Reapers as a way to quickly get rid of the intruders was just brutal. Mairi just has a menacing presence just like Kenpachi, but it isn't strength, it is more along the lines of evil and cunningness. Seeing Mairi regenerate his arm and use his lieutenant just like Zabuza wanted to use Haku, Mairi starts to play around and taunt Uryu, and it isn't until he shows him a picture of his grandfather's mutilated corpse that he pulls out all the stops. Mairi releases his Bankai and Uryu puts everything in his last attack. Mairi ends up needing to retreat, but Uryu escapes getting an antidote for the poison. But what doesn't last long is that he just runs into another captain and just gets taken out. Back to Bankai training, Yoruichi takes out a device that manifests into the individual Zanpakuto spirit, so Ichigo has to continuously fight Old Man Zangetsu for a while to obtain Bankai. While this is happening, we have a little civil war going on within the Gotei 13, and people are turning on each other and yelling and blaming everyone on this random Captain Aizen's death, but whatever, let's see something more interesting. Maybe like the execution day of Rukia moving up a day and Renji joining in on the training session. Oh, I forgot too, Kenpachi's going to fight 2 other captains because he wants to fight Ichigo again? Stuff is just starting to ramp up. Kenpachi is just flexing on the other captains and it's really nice to see, but we have a lot of cover, so let's just keep pushing on. Renji confronts Byakuya and, to be honest, puts up a really decent fight and earned Byakuya's respect. Seeing Renji Bankai was really nice to see, and it's a really nice treat. Finally getting to Rukia's execution as we see the true form of the spearhead transform into a giant phoenix. This thing is just casually blocked by Ichigo at his last possible chance to save Rukia. Really fucking crazy panel. Now for the true rematch we've been waiting for. I would touch on the other fights really quick. Yoruichi's fight was really nice and compelling and just showed that Yoruichi is the god that everyone remembers her to be. Then we have Yamamoto and his sons, the family feud. Not much because most of the fighting is off screen, but it showed the insane strength that they had without showing too much. Now back to the main event. We have a little bit back and forth where Ichigo's trying to get Byakuya to use his Bankai so he can flex his own. Ichigo's able to land a Getsuga Tensho on Byakuya after releasing his Zanpakuto. This causes Byakuya to finally use and activate his Bankai, where Ichigo is keeping up but just barely. Now Ichigo reveals his Bankai and speed blitzes Byakuya. Ichigo's speed is insane and their fight continues. We see them clashing over and over again. Yet it seems like Byakuya is getting closer and closer to hitting Ichigo. Byakuya is able to get Ichigo to his limit, and right before he finishes him off, White takes over and shows Ichigo how to fight. White is able to do some serious damage, but is taken away as Ichigo pulls off the mask. Ichigo and Byakuya do one final attack to finish the fight, and Ichigo is declared the winner. What a great ending to this arc. Wait, what is this melody? Did I forget someone? Oh shit! Aizen's back, and he wants a hug! Oh boy! Aizen is revealed to be the person behind everything. He wanted the Hokyoku, his power is insanely overpowered, and he just stopped Ichigo Bankai with one finger. Like, dude, what in the world? Then, as soon as he gets what he wants, he dips out. That is the end of the Soul Society arc, and we're moving on to One Piece. So now for the East Blue arc. This is another 100 chapter for me to go through, so let's get going. We are introduced to the pirate world with the execution of Goldie Roger. This starts the whole pirate age again. Then we are introduced to our MC, Luffy, who is shown to be a kid alongside Shanks. Luffy ends up eating the gum fruit and becomes a rubber boy. Luffy is kidnapped and thrown into the sea, but is saved by Shanks at the cost of Shanks' arm. Shanks gives Luffy his hat, telling him to return it only when he becomes a great pirate and only then. We have a time skip, and now Luffy is old enough to take his journey to sea. Luffy ends up running into Kobe, who dreams to be a marine. With both of them having a conflicting dream, they are still having a decent friendship. We are introduced to Zoro, who's tied up at a marine base, and Luffy is trying to get a map from that same base. Luffy agrees to get Zoro's swords back and returns with the 3 that he found. Zoro reveals that he uses all 3 swords in a fighting style. They end up fighting Captain Morgan and his marine. They end up escaping, but not until they're stopped with the dilemma that Kobe can't continue with them because he wants to be a marine, and marines shouldn't be working with pirates. Kobe and Luffy exchange blows to convince the Marines that they aren't friends to allow Kobe the chance of being a Marine. We now make our way to meet the one and only Buggy the Clown. Buggy had completely taken over Lodge Town. We are introduced to Nami there as well. Buggy and Luffy both show off their Devil Fruit powers, Buggy having the Chop Chop Fruit. Luffy ends up beating Buggy and leaving him in a very funny state at the end. I know there's a lot more to this part, like the dog protecting the store, Luffy getting his hat cut, and Nami not firing the cannon at Luffy, but I want to focus on major things that are part of each island that they visit, so please bear with me. Now going to Gecko Island, we are introduced to Usopp, the village liar. We understand that he's lost both his parents. his father to the way of a pirate and his mother to illness. Usopp is alone and lying to get the attention of the village, being hopeful that the pirate coming back to the village is his father. Luffy and his crew encounter Usopp and show him that they are the real deal. Usopp runs to his rich friend in her mansion to tell her stories of his so-called adventures in the hopes of comforting her as she is very ill as well. Luffy asks Kaya for a ship but is interrupted by the butler. After the confrontation with Kuro and Usopp, they both leave and it's revealed that Kuro is going to kill Kaya. Luffy is knocked out of commission due to the hypnosis of Michael Jackson. Usopp tries to warn everyone, but due to his lying all the time, they write it off as just another lie. Kuro makes his move and going to regroup with his crew. The crew starts to fight some of Kuro's crew members until he shows up. When he finally does show up, he is pissed that his crew is nearly wiped out. He dons these cat claw weapons and I shit you not, start doing the pussyfoot. Can't make this shit up. After going back and forth, Luffy seems to not being able to keep up with Kuro when he goes into a blind rage, where he starts attacking everything, not knowing friend from foe. Luffy is able to grab a hold of him and does a crazy headbutt finish to finish off the fight. Usopp is able to save Kaya as well. The crew is going to be given the Going Merry and tells Usopp to go along with them. He agrees and is now off to the next destination. The crew want to eat something, so they go to the restaurant ship, the Beretti. Luffy accidentally redirects a cannonball into the restaurant and is forced to work there to repay for the damages. Here, we are introduced to the White Knight himself, Sanji. Here, he is a chef at the restaurant and beats the shit out of any customers that waste any food. After a hungry pirate is beaten out of the restaurant, Sanji shows his true colors and feeds the pirate. Luffy sees Sanji's character and tells him to join his crew. Sanji refuses. He has a reason to be here at the restaurant. The hungry pirate goes back after being fed to Don Craig to lead him to the restaurant. Don Craig arrives at the restaurant and wants to take it over. The Don gets all the food for his crew and demands that they go back to the Grand Line, even though they barely made it out alive. Before they can even think, their boat is cut in half by Mihawk. In the middle of the commotion, Nami gets away, so she is out of this fight. Zoro sees Mihawk and doesn't waste a second to challenge him. Mihawk takes out his butter knife to completely destroy Zoro. After Zoro's defeat, he vowed to never lose to anyone else again. Very great scene, very emotional. Sanji and the rest of the crew have to defend the restaurant, but when Zeph gets caught, Sanji is forced to take a beating for his father figure. We get Sanji's backstory, see his dream of finding the All Blue, and why he is so dedicated to Zeph's restaurant. After more of a beating, Luffy has had enough and goes after Don Craig. Luffy needs to get through that thick armor and many weapons that Don Craig has. Seeing Don Craig attack his whole crew with gas just makes Luffy finally lose it. Gin gives up his own mask and betrays Don Craig to show the same compassion that Sanji had given him. Luffy is just punching through everything Don has, pushing through it all because he's just done with Don Craig's abuse of others and his own crew. Luffy and Don Craig just keep trading blows, Luffy keeping up the pressure to weaken Don's armor, finally breaking through with a clean bazooka. Yet, Don doesn't want to give up and tries to capture Luffy with a net, and Luffy just stomps him down. With this fight finally over, Luffy recovers, and it is where the tears start fucking rolling. Zeph seeing Sanji talking about his dream, so that his restaurant crew lie to Sanji about telling him his soup is trash, forcing him to storm out and asking Luffy to take Sanji with him to help him find his dream. Sanji is leaving his family behind and tries to play it off like it means nothing, all trying to be tough guys. It's not until Zeph tells Sanji to not catch a cold that I just can't help but cry with Sanji. They all loved each other and were grateful for everything they gave one another. Now we move on to Arlong Park. We find out that Nami's hometown is under control of Arlong. All the citizens are scared of fishmen that demand money and take everything from them. Zoro confronts Arlong looking for Nami, but to Zoro's surprise, she is working for Arlong. Zoro tries to drown himself, but Nami, still being the good person at heart, saves him, letting Zoro know her true character. Usopp tries to stop Arlong from wrecking the town but gets chased down. We see Nami's goal is to steal treasure and make enough money to buy her village back. Usopp is captured and Nami tries to save him by pretending to stab him, throwing him to the ocean to help him escape. We get Nami's backstory of her adoptive mother, seeing the love that she had raising her, just for Arlong to come and take it all away by killing her adopted mother. Nami is seen as a traitor when she joins Arlong's crew for what seems like money. Nami swears that she will not cry and fight alone from here on end. Nami, now back in the present, is greeted by a marine demanding she give everything that she had stolen. The money that she collected up to this point to buy her village back is taken away from her. She confronts Arlong and comes to realize she has nothing left. She was never going to buy her village back. She's gonna see her village confront Arlong, knowing that they're all gonna die. She breaks down, just starts stabbing her tattoo. Luffy stops her from hurting herself even more. She yells at him to leave before turning back, asking for his help. Luffy gives Nami his treasure and tells her, "Of course I will." The crew waiting in order to go to have to be the rawest panel in all of the East Blue arc. Look at this, just hype and clean. Now with the confrontation of Arlong, Luffy just walks up to Arlong and punches him, telling him not to make his navigator cry. Luffy gets himself stuck in the ground because of his pinwheel attack, and for some reason now he's out of the fight because Arlong throws him into the ocean for him to drown. Zoro, Sanji, and Usopp have their own fishmen to deal with. Zoro has a clean sword battle with his and able to defeat his octopus opponent. Sanji's having an underwater fight with the fishman and is able to get back up to the surface and fight him on land again, where he is able to beat him. Usopp has his encounter and uses quick thinking to defeat his opponent, even though he is far weaker than him. Zoro and Sanji both work together to hold off Arlong and free Luffy, allowing Luffy to finally confront Arlong. Arlong and Luffy go all out, seeing the strength of a fishman and Luffy landing good hits to shatter Arlong's teeth. Arlong uses his teeth and nose to keep cutting Luffy until he finally catches him and lands a good hit. Arlong goes berserk and just starts pushing Luffy back even more with his raw strength and power. They end up moving into Nami's room, and Luffy, after hearing about how Arlong is using her, starts destroying the room completely. Luffy breaks Arlong's nose, winds up a huge battle axe. After taking a clean hit from Arlong, Luffy releases the battle axe, sending Arlong through the floors of the building, ending the fight. Marines try to spoil the victory, and they are led to the crew getting their bounties. Nami ends up joining the crew and getting a tattoo of a pinwheel and an orange or a tangerine depending on the translation. It was her way of moving on from Arlong and to keep what she values with her at all times. That pinwheel story still hurts to see. The crew sails off and we see the effects of Luffy and his crew getting the bounties, Mihawk and Shanks interacting, and others seeing Luffy is finally starting its journey, and they move to the Grand Line. Okay, now that's been super long and I can finally get into the ranking of these opening arcs, if you will. I will be going through a lot of stuff, looking at character growth, world building, pacing, and much more. So this video is already long, so I'll stop wasting your time and go right into the rankings. Coming in at bronze is Naruto, the Land of Waves. Okay, to start off, I understand that Naruto has the shortest amount of chapters compared to the Soul Society, East Blue, but compared to the other two, Naruto does the least amount in those 30 chapters. For Bleach and One Piece, there's so much more character development and world building. For example, I feel like the weakest part of this arc is Sakura. I feel like she just does nothing in both encounters with Zabuza. She protects the bridge builder, but at the same time, she doesn't. She is saved by multiple others at multiple times, and she just seems to be there, watching Naruto, Sasuke, and Kakashi do the heavy carrying. Naruto and Sasuke free Kakashi without Sakura's help, then Kakashi beats up Zabuza for the first time. In the second encounter, Naruto and Sasuke fight Haku, and Kakashi fights Zabuza. Sakura is just on the bench watching. I just feel like if she was written out, nothing would change at all. I've been doing a little bit of hating, so let's get into things I like. I love Naruto's character development in this arc. It feels like he's going into being Hokage to get the respect, but understands the cruel world outside of that dream. Seeing him realize the challenges he must face, going in running is amazing. We can talk about Naruto's power up as well. It was kind of scary, to be honest. It looked like a feral dog with rabies, but my god, was he just overpowering Haku after that. Not even close. Another highlight would be Kakashi. He literally steals the entire show here. The Sharingan, the wet hair while blocking the Demon Wind Shuriken with his arm, and the lightning blade. Like, how could you not instantly love this character? Even after fighting Zabuza, he is able to summon so many clones to get ready to fight the gang members, and it was just so good. Now, to my favorite part, the ending. I know people say stuff like talk no jutsu is stupid. Right here, man, it's so good. Naruto breaks the hard shell that is Zabuza and shows him that he truly cared about Haku. Seeing Zabuza cry at Naruto's words and proceeds to go fight the gang members with both arms not being used is insane. Zabuza is such a great starting villain. Overall, I feel like there isn't enough character development for certain characters, even though the cast is really small at this point. The opening chapter is so great, but not enough character development in my honest opinion. Now, in silver, we have what I think is my biggest hot take, Bleach's Soul Society arc. Now, please hear me out. This took me a long time to think about, and I have good valid reasons to back up my opinion. First off, this arc does not start on the first chapter. We start on chapter 71. So, to take that into account, with understanding Naruto is only working with 33 chapters, and One Piece started on chapter 1, we should already have a good understanding of all these characters compared to the other two series. Let's start off with the complaints. I feel like it shares the same thing with the first arc of Bleach, where it feels like encounter after encounter. It truly feels like Monster of the Week feeling. I do think that the severity of the situation didn't feel like everyone was taking it seriously. For example, they all know Ichigo and the gang are here and fighting. How come none of them can sense the fight and everyone just collapse on one area? Like Kenpachi can sense spiritual pressure, so I assume that all the other captains can as well. I understand the civil war is going on, but I don't know. I hear them talk about going full out war, but why doesn't it feel like it? The only people I can say that took it seriously was Kenpachi, Byakuya, and Mairi. They literally went in for the kill. There might be a more for Kenpachi argument, but he did rock Ichigo. I also feel like after the fight there was too many convenient ways for our heroes to get out and recover. Like Ichigo being able to fight and get away and fully recover 2 times, then also have his training for his Bankai in a hidden area. It just felt weird to me, but it wasn't such a big deal, just always in the back of my mind. Also, rapidly changing Rukia's execution just felt so annoying to me. And besides that, most of my complaints are pretty much out of the way. Now for the positives, the fights were just top tier. Ichigo vs Kenpachi was just so hype. Uryu's fight had to be the most exciting, with both of them doing their best to win. Mairi using his Bankai and cheap tricks to get the edge on Uryu, only for Uryu to use his Quincy powers to not only beat Mairi but spare him as well. Just big dick energy. Then we have the rematch with Byakuya and Ichigo. Holy shit, was this amazing and so much fun to get into. Just a spectacle and rewarding payoff fight. Not just gonna lie, the Bankai was really the highlight and the best part of the arc. Like Ichigo showing off the clean design and massive speed, then Byakuya using a Bankai during the fight as well was just beautiful. Now for the story wise, I feel like it was such a captivating story with Ichigo and him trying to save Rukia. Then we have the whole betrayal of Aizen. It was really nice to see the story really tries to mislead you, thinking that Gin is the villain, but really just slapped you in the face with reality, which was, I think, the best part of this arc as well. It was a good arc, and I do think it still stands very strong against others, but in my opinion, it did not beat our first place winner. One Piece is the winner for this Big 3 Rumble. I will have to say, rereading these chapters, I didn't expect the East Blue arc to top the Soul Society arc. Yet, I will say that there are very few negatives for me. One would be how slow some of the parts kinda go. I feel like there's a lot of over-explanation just leading up to a fight. There's also many fights that don't carry too much weight, like Captain Kuro and his underlings and some of Arlong's men. I just feel like it had crew members needed to defeat someone. This is literally my only complaint. I will say the world building is unmatched. Understanding the dangers of the Grand Line, the Warlord, the gap in powers, and the threatening opponents in the East Blue alone. It is just crazy. I think it really just sucks me into the story even more. I know people say that One Piece gets good at Arlong Park, but I really have to disagree with this. I do believe Arlong Park is an amazing arc for Nami's character development. I do think that One Piece gets good at Beretti. If you do not get captivated by Sanji's backstory, Zoro's dedication to not lose and declaration to be the strongest, and Luffy's understanding of other people's dreams, then One Piece isn't for you. Now, character development. Oda gives so much time for these characters to have the time they deserve to be completely fleshed out. Luffy is just having an opening backstory about what his dream is, Zoro having a backstory of why he wants to become the strongest swordsman, Sanji's dream to find the All Blue, Usopp's dream to be a brave warrior of the sea, and Nami to save her village. You feel sympathy for each character. You understand what they think and how they will act. You know who they are. It is just wonderful to see the love and care Oda puts into these characters, and it really shows. I fall in love with each of these characters, and I feel like I am very close to these fictional characters. After the first 100 chapters, it feels like the story has just begun, and I still feel like we are not even close to finishing the story. That was a super long video, so much longer that it broke a lot of my planned schedule for other videos, and but I really enjoyed it. Thank you, Kevda67, for your recommendation. It was fun to reread all those amazing stories. If you want your recommendation to be in the next video, please comment below, and I will give you credit in the next Big 3 Rumble. Thank you so much for sticking to the entirety of this video. If you would do me a favor, would you like and sub? Only if you feel like I've earned it. With that being said, thank you again, and I'll see you when I see you.